kung fu.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I have an action classic for you, 1992's Universal Soldier, starring the legendary Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. And this movie came out in 1992, and this is the early 90s, baby. The early 90s was like so many of the great action movies that were coming out, especially so many of the great action movies had come out before. I mean, before this, Jean-Claude Van Damme, an icon of the genre, he had already done Bloodsport and Kickboxer, two of his best, most iconic films of all time. Kickboxer and Bloodsport are great. He even did quite literally maybe his best action movie in terms of the way it was taken in Hard Target. So Jean-Claude Van Damme was at the height of his powers. He was doing so many things, and this was another movie on that list. And Dolph Lundgren had already done so many things as well. Obviously, he had already starred in the Rocky IV as the iconic Ivan Drago. He would also go on to be in things like, what was it? What was that called? Masters of the Universe. Showdown in Little Tokyo. Dolph Lundgren would go on to be in. He also was in the first version of The Punisher ever put on screen. So Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme at this point in time were big action stars. They were really big action stars. Like, there was a couple of them at this time, obviously, Stallone and Arnold and others, Kurt Russell, obviously. There was a couple of them at this time, but these two were two of the bigger ones. They were two of the heavy hitters, action star wise at the time. And at the time, you had many movies like this that had happened, where you'd get two of the biggest action stars you can, and either you put them together as a team or you put them together going against each other. We go all the way back to Chuck Norris versus Bruce Lee, and then we would later on get things like we would later in life get freaking Jason Statham versus Jet Li. We'd get Jackie Chan versus Jet Li. We would get many different renditions, obviously. Other ones would come up. But this one was a heavy-hitting event. It was basically, you're talking about, okay, this is Van Damme versus your boy, man, versus Dolph Lundgren. And what we ended up getting in Universal Soldier is one of the most cheesiest, over-the-top, just slucks. It is just all classic 90s action. I'm talking the awkward jokes, one-liners, the blood, the unnecessary, over-the-top violence, the gags. I mean, it's so much going on in this movie, but at the same time, not like very similar to Demolition Man, which was another iconic versus movie in my opinion, which is Wesley Snipes versus Sylvester Stallone in Demolition Man. But very similar to Demolition Man in this sense, though nowhere near as good as Demolition Man. I love Universal Soldier, but I don't think it's as good as Demolition Man. But very similar to Demolition Man, it is playing with a very cool concept. A concept that would be played upon in many video games and different literature and whatnot, shows and other movies, after this. But the idea of the U.S. government bringing dead soldiers back to life to have them be these humane killing robots, essentially, is a fascinating concept. It's kind of hardcore. And even the story of Universal Soldier is sort of hardcore. I think it's probably the most hardcore in terms of genre. No, to be fair, he did do Time Cop. Van Damme did do Time Cop, which was kind of, which was kind of out there. But Universal Soldier stars Van Damme as Devereaux. His name is John Devereaux. And Devereaux is fighting in Vietnam. Now, they kind of try to make up a reason for his accent and all that other shit, because, that's always a big problem or a big, thing in Van Damme movies, because he's a Frenchman. Van Damme is a Frenchman, and he has an accent. No matter how hard he tries to, push through it, him and Arnie just got the accent, man. But And a lot of times, just like Arnold back in the day, they didn't even acknowledge it. Like, Arnold would be from the fucking America, born and bred in America, can barely, like, speak it sounding like that. Are you sure? But at least I'll give him credit for this movie. They actually went out of their way to come up with the reason for why he has a French accent, because he was raised in Louisiana and his mother was from France. So he's born half American, like he was born in the States, but his mother is French. So that's why, and he's born in Louisiana, so he's interacted with a lot of French people, so that's why he has a French accent. They do go out of their way to at least acknowledge his French accent, but still, it is funny. But anyways, his commander, played by Dolph Lundgren, snaps. Sarge. Really, they say his name, but that's not important. I just know him as Crazy Sarge, basically. And his commander during fucking Vietnam, like, they're about to go home, like, because, you know, Devereaux makes it very clear at the beginning of the movie, because it happens at the beginning of the movie, like, yo, I'm about to go home. This is our last this is our last hurrah. And all of a sudden, like I said, his commander snaps, kills the unit, kills the entire village that they're in, and he's trying to kill this two couple. Devereaux, obviously trying to stop him from doing it, attempts to save the couple. Not only does he fail in saving the couple, but him and his commander end up gunning each other down, and they died. You gotta imagine, this movie took place in 1992. So 25 years later, after the Vietnam War, like, this unit showed up, these people showed up, put him on ice. He went through this crazy program by a company named I think it's called Unisol, something like that. This company that, like, essentially bringing dead soldiers back, super enhancing them to be super soldiers. And he was brought back, but through craziness and situations, and I guess the serum wearing off on his body, his memories start to come back. But unfortunately, as his memories start to come back, so does the memory of his crazy fucking sergeant or commanding officer, played by Dolph Lundgren. And there's this fun bit in the movie. I will say this. As many problems as this movie has, and trust me, it is not a good movie by any stretch. As a film, it ain't the best. But as an action movie, and as a piece of sci-fi cinema, it is a fascinating fucking movie to me. It was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid, and one of my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. Also one of my favorite Dolph Lundgren movies, because I know I named off a couple of Dolph Lundgren movies, but outside of the Rocky movie, this was the only other movie until, later on in life, till like, much later, that I had ever seen Dolph Lundgren in, not being Drago. And Dolph Lundgren and fucking Van Damme's performances were night and day. So Van Damme was very understudied, because like it's supposed to be like his brain, he's slowly becoming human. But like, because even the tag of it is even the tag, which you'll see on the great poster, by the way, one of my all-time favorite posters for this movie, with them in black and like their faces kind of shaded in the darkness, and you see Dolph Lundgren behind him and almost human, almost I dug that. Almost under control, as both of these soldiers' memories start to come back. I guess the idea is that the moment they both died was so tragic and so whatever, that the moment their memories started to come back, their memories came back like BAM! And they were both in autopilot mode. Now granted, Dolph Lundgren is over the top. Now I get it. He's supposed to be playing a Vietnam vet who's gone mental, PTSD, all that shit is hitting him hard. He's lost his shit. But man, he is losing it. He is wailing. He is screaming. Like, Dolph Lundgren is going batshit insane in this movie. And it is both hilarious and fun. It's funny, hilarious. And also, he is kind of intimidating. Like, I would compare this once again to another movie, Demolition Man, in the sense of like, Wesley Snipes was so unleashed. No, I don't know. Wesley Snipes was unleashed in Demolition Man. I don't know if Dolph Lundgren was unleashed, but it's the most unhinged and just out there that you've ever seen Dolph Lundgren. And this was him at his height of his power. So he's like 7 foot tall of jack shit muscle, which kind of still makes it scary because of how big and intimidating and how kick-ass he is. You're still kind of terrified even with the ridiculousness. And ironically, Van Damme is very understudied because he's supposed to be playing a character who he gets to sort of play fish out of water, in the sense that He doesn't know what's going on in tension. He's just kind of moving off of instincts. He's kind of got this robotic vibe to him. Like, because like he's supposed to be that. He's supposed to be kind of frozen. He's supposed to be this kill robot. But slowly over the course of the movie, he gains more of himself. He gains more of himself. He gains more of himself. And of course, Van Damme shows off his ass. I swear to God, that dude was like, I got an amazing body and I want everybody to fucking know I have an amazing body. I get it, dude. You don't got to do it in every fucking movie. He does it in every movie, especially in the early days. My God, that dude just loves stripping down naked. But and they obviously play it for gags because he's supposed to be a robot, or he's supposed to be robotic in a mini way, so he doesn't really know to care about being naked, because it's just like literally the beginning of the movie he gets fucking full-blown naked because there's this whole thing going on where their bodies overheat and they have to cool down. It's like, and when they cool down they can heal themselves. Like, it's like I say, the sci-fi aspect of it is very interesting, very fascinating. And like, now they would go on to make a couple more sequels to this that like were even worse. But I think the best version of this was this first movie. It was cool seeing the fight sequences. There were some chase sequences that were dope. The final fight in the rain was dope as fuck. The female main protagonist, or the female love interest, wasn't annoying. She was very much in the lines of like a reporter, you know, like a Lois Lane or something like that. April from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know, she had a bit of grit and grime to her. She wasn't annoying. She wasn't aggravating. You believed that she was probably doing the best acting in the movie, if you're being completely honest. But overall, Universal Soldier is a treat. If you're an action fan and you can just sit back and watch some ridiculousness, this is the movie for you, dude. It's one of Van Damme's most iconic films. It's got one of the greatest posters of all time, in my personal opinion. It's a great... The final fight is dope as hell. The final fight is dope as hell. It has one of the funnest chase sequences as well. Like, see, like Dolph Lundgren throwing the grenades through the window and her having to take the grenades out and throw them out was fun. Like, there's so many parts of this movie that are just so over-the-top ridiculousness that I just couldn't help but have a good time watching it. I would give Universal Soldier as an action movie an 8 out of 10. As a movie, it's like a 4 out of 10. But as an action movie, it's an 8 out of 10. And if you guys are wondering, comment, get movie show, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.